Hello, how are you doing, my friends? I hope you're doing fine. Welcome to Verified So. I know we have only one day to the release of the DV 2025 results, and therefore this video comes in handy. We have been doing a series of videos helping us to fill the DS260 form correctly. And we have done several sections of the DS260 form. So if you haven't watched those videos, just go back some few videos and then you shall find those videos. But in today's video, I want us to cover the personal information. And in this personal information, I am going to divide it into three parts. The first one is personal information 1, and I will be doing the general information about yourself, your general bio. And then we shall go to the second part of the personal information, and that is regarding the travel documents and the alternatives. The third part will be the contact information, that is specifically the email. So without much ado, let's dive directly into the video. On the personal information, this is everything that is around you. And as you can see, you need to provide the names. And this is just usual. The surnames, the surnames. Some call them the family names. And then we have the given names, the first and the second name. You fill them here. The area that has issues is the full names in the native alphabet. This might not apply to you specifically, but if you're there and you have your name in your native language, native alphabets, then you need to include it here. This is important because it helps during the interview and during the DV process if some of your documents will be having the native names or the names in the native language. So if it applies to you, please do so. And then we go to this second part here. Have you ever used other names? And they have specified maiden, religious, professional, alias, etc. So if you have taken your husband's name, maybe you got married and on your marriage certificate and your documents, you've taken your husband's name, as some people do, then that extra name, you are supposed to use it here. And also professionally, if there is a name that you had changed and used due to your profession, like for example, I know of the military. The military, they sometimes tend to use different names. If you have a different name that you use, then you need to include it in this slot. I hope you've gotten that. But if you don't have, then say no. And then you need to select your gender. If you're female or male, you select here. And then the current marital status. What is your marital status? And this might have a connection with the initial application. If you applied as single and from that time up to now, you have not yet married, you need to select single here. But you might have applied as single and then you've changed your status. Maybe you got married. If you've gotten married and you have the legal documents for marriage, then you select married even if you had initially applied as single. And then you will include all the information about yourself and the spouse and also create the DS260 for your spouse. If you had filled in the initial application as married and then you say something happened along the way and then you are no longer together and you have not officially divorced or separated, you will still need to apply as married. But if you have divorced or you've separated legally and you have the separation documents or the divorce papers, then you feel as divorced or separated. Have you gotten the point? And the point to note here is you cannot change from married to single if there are no legal documents. That is impractical. Even if you are not living together, you have some disagreement, and you have not yet gotten the legal papers, you are still married. And if you are single and you have a relationship, maybe you have a boyfriend or a girlfriend, don't think to change your marital status to married. Your girlfriend or whoever you are living with or cohabiting with, they do not qualify to make you change your status to married. And then we go on to put the date of birth. And the date of birth, this is simply the date that appears on your birth certificates, regardless of what you filled in the initial application. The correct date of birth should be what is on the birth certificate. And that's why I told you that before filling the DS260 form, you have to gather these documents so that they may help you in filling the correct information in the DS260 form. And then you place the city of birth. And here comes some confusion. The city of birth, as per the United States, they use this term, city of birth. But in your country, you might not be using this term. But what they simply mean is that place of birth indicated on your birth certificate. That is coined as the city, regardless of whether it is a village, or it's a small center, or it's a small town, or it is a city itself. That name that appears on the birth certificate, that is the name that you put here. I hope you've gotten that. And then the state, the province, or the county, whichever system that you use in your country, you place it on the state stroke province of birth. And then the country of birth, of course, you put it here. And then we come to the second part, that is regarding the travel document. Now, the travel document refers to your passport, and that is what you're going to fill in here. And first, you fill in your country of origin, that is your country of nationality. And then you provide the type of document. You select passport. And then you put the passport number here, and then you put the country that issued you with that passport. And then you need to put the issuance date of the passport and the expiration date of the passport. And then, do you hold or have you held a nationality other than one you have indicated above? So there are people who have different nationalities. You have more than one nationalities. This talks about you. So if you have, you select yes. And then if you have any travel document from that country, you need to put it here. And you suggest that country, the name of that country, what it is on this box here. And if you have more than two, you just click add here and then add that other nationality and then fill in the details as you have. Before we leave this section, I want to talk about something, that it is not a must that you should be having the passport. That one I've said in earlier videos. You can use any identification document that you have in this place, and then later on, when you get your passport, you can request for unlock from KCC and update the information. Alternatively, you wait till the interview date and then do the changes at the embassy. So not a must that you have your passport, just use a different identification number and submit your DS260 form. And then finally, the last section on this personal information is the email address. Now, the email address that you insert here should be what you used in the initial application, but not a must. If you cannot retrieve that email or you cannot access it, then you can use the current email address, the active one that you are using in this, because on this email that you will insert here is through which KCC will communicate with you, especially when you receive the second notification letter. That notification that tells you you have your second notification letter in the dvprogram.state.gov will come through this email. So this email is very important. Put the active email that you're using at the moment. If you've forgotten what you used in the initial application, use the one that is active on this section. And then, have you used any other email address during the last 5 years? If you have, yes, then say yes here. And I know most of you might be having one or two emails that you're using. Those emails, you need to list them here. So if yes, then provide those emails here. And you can add another and another as to many emails you have used within the past 5 years. Even if you don't remember the password, but you do remember the email, insert it here on have you used any other email within the last 5 years. And that brings us to the end of this video. I hope you've understood. But if you have further questions, don't shy off from asking, and I'll be here to answer everything. I wish you all the best in the DV results. If you have not subscribed, subscribe. Up to now, you know that we have very good information in this channel. So you need to subscribe and also put the bell on so that you get notified every time I put such videos. Please like the video, share with your friends, and let's meet in the next video.